Alright, ladies and gentlemen, how are you all doing? Welcome back
to the Vortex Entertainment broadcasting channel. It's been a while since I've been here. It's been a while since I've actually been in the studio for once. But kicking off season 31 of Mountain Dew League, and we're finally getting back into some broadcasting. Of course, it's a best of one today, Ence versus Movistar Riders. Probably one of the better games to kick off a season in Mountain Dew League. So we're going to get into it, do a little bit of analysis, pre-game, and then we'll jump into the match. We haven't got the Go TV just yet, but we'll be getting that very, very soon. So, with Ence, of course, being one of the best teams in the world right now, I'm expecting kind of a pretty quick victory from their kind of stance. Of course, it's Nuke to begin the best of one, so it's not particularly the best map of Ence, but it's one that's going to be interesting, of course. Considering they lost a couple of matches at Blast, or the previous, I think it was Sao Paulo, Madrid, one of the two, where they started T-side and lost pretty heavily because of it. I think one of those was against Liquid as well. So getting on that CT side start would be probably the best outcome for Ence, but realistically against Movistar Riders, whilst they're good in their own right at this kind of level, obviously coming up against Ence is a hard task in itself. So with the way that they've been performing, with the way that they've been showing how good they are, and how good they're able to contend at that top flight for a period of time as well. Obviously, with the major run they had, getting to the grand final, losing to Astralis, which of course would have been the dream if they've actually carried that victory. But realistically, with the way that they have been able to make sure they stay at that kind of level, was actually more surprising than I expected. I kind of thought these guys would have maybe had that heightened play, then fallen off a little bit toward the end, or at least toward the end of their period, and started to decline. But they've actually been able to go to the Star Series events and actually show their worth. They've been able to keep matching up against these kinds of sides, you know, the Renegades, the Tylus, the NIPs, Fanatics, MIP, those kind of sides they're always able to keep up against. And I think that's one of the strongest outlets that they do have coming into this league, and they should be clear favourites to get into the Pro League for this season. Of course, that is the direct route from MDL. You win MDL, you go basically into Pro League itself. I believe that's why Windigo is there, unless they were from the previous season, but I'm not too sure. Either way, I know teams like Csgo, X-Space Soldiers have qualified through that kind of route, X3D Max as well. So obviously it's a very possible route, and Ence should be the team to realistically take that first place. And of course, they are best of ones. They are online. It's probably one of the worst case scenarios for Ence. But overall, they should be able to come out on top realistically, take that kind of top spot, advance through to the tournament, and then we'll get into, you know, the other matches they have to play and see them at lands and see them performing in their true nature. So yeah, coming into this, I think it's going to be a relatively easy game for Ence, unless, of course, they have that T-side start again where they aren't really able to pick up as many rounds as they would like. But I think against a side like Movistar Riders, realistically, we should just be coming into this and seeing a relative quick defeat. And that's no offense to Movistar in any kind of way. I've casted these guys a couple of days this week, or at least in the past 2 weeks or so in best of ones, and they've actually been pretty good. They've been showing a lot of skill, even with their new integration of Death after, obviously, lower left to go to Hellraisers. So I think they're actually coping well with the scenario they have. So that'll be interesting to see if they do get the kind of start on the T side or CT that they would like. But overall prediction here is coming into Ence. If you would like to get into the interactive predictions, we do have a couple of tweets on our social media if you want to go and join at Vortex Entertainment Csgo. Drop us your predictions, or just drop them in the Twitch chat, and we'll, interact a little bit later on. But with that being said, we'll go into the pre-game a little bit, and we'll be back with you in around 5 minutes' time for the start of the game, knife round and such, and we'll get right into it. So with that being said, if you want to follow me on Twitter, my @ is literally right there underneath. Go and check me out, and I'll catch you all in around 5 minutes' time or so.
and me are born of regularities, living all the dreams, playing all the games, and getting high on love. They can chase us down, but we will always win. Leading every dance, feeling every touch, and getting high on love. We're invincible. Trust in me. We're invincible. Don't you see? We're invincible. confidence may fall, I'll be here as your foundation. And I say, hey, yo, just let it go. Your struggles will remain. And I say, hey, yo, we're holding hope and wake up yesterday. So hold on to me. Hold on to me. Hold on to me.
Gave you too much, now I'm swallowed. Now I'm the fool while you're breaking rules. Dangerous path that I follow. you do. And it hurts as I bleed for you, cry for you. Oh, oh. Let me bleed as I bleed for you, cry for you. Oh, oh. Let me bleed. Let me just stay one more night. I'll be by your side. We'll live for a new day. We live life the hard way, but not today. Just stay. Just stay. Just stay. One more night. We found our way again. We found our way again. We found our way. A new place.
So fragile, like it was built to break off the handle. How'd we get
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, how are you all doing? Welcome back. We can finally bring you some action. It did take a little bit of time to get the game underway, but it seems like we're now about to go live. And of course, a game that we're definitely all excited for as we get in to just a little best of one. It is on Nuke, so it's going to be an interesting map in itself. But especially with the way that Ence have been playing, and just their overall ranking in the whole spectacle of things. Personally, kind of think that it most likely will be a pretty simple Ence victory, but who knows? It's online. It's a best of one. Literally anything could happen. But logically, on paper, we already should know the outcome. This time, though, as we get into our best of one already, we will see a little bit of action early outside as Mixwell and Aerial trading one for one. Death at least able to swing and finds himself two. That is already an explosive beginning for Movistar in this kind of scenario. 4 versus 2, and as they put themselves at a clear advantage in this pistol round, they should at least be able to seal the deal so far. But of course, it could be a little challenge. Don't particularly want to jinx it too heavy, but with the way that they are holding, making sure that bomb is locked down and secure, there should be no reason for them to lose this round in itself. And already is 40 seconds on the clock. Alexi B and Aerial Both trying to retrieve the bomb from inside of that trophy room. Alexi be able to trade at least Soka back, but as he is down to relatively low HP, all three players of Movistar grouped up and ready for this kind of take. And as he does grab the bomb, he won't be able to survive for too long. Movistar Riders taking a first little pistol round on that CT side. And I said in the pre-game analysis, if you weren't here for that Ence definitely has to start performing on the T side, to be able to survive, even against a side like Movistar Riders. We saw Ence play Nuke very recently, and it wasn't particularly the best showing from them on that T side. Yet, of course, they were playing against way higher teams, a way caliber of an event than this one. Realistically, that T side has been the bane of Ence's existence in this kind of very heavily CT favored map, and it definitely should be. We've seen a lot of teams at this kind of level just come out with 3 or 4 rounds basic from that T side, maybe 5 if they're lucky. Anything more is a real blessing. But realistically, Movistar Riders, a good start for them, a second on the board. This is now time for Ence to start performing to get themselves a little advantage early into this T side, and they do have those 5 AK-47s. Decent amount of utility to back it up with as well. And interesting that Movistar haven't particularly upgraded too much from their original purchase. The MP9s, the FAMAS is all remaining in play, and I can definitely get behind it. If you can keep those rifles alive, or at least get a couple more kills with them, in a scenario like this, where particularly you're not really expecting to bring too much from the round. If you're prepared to lose this round, to have a heightened economy moving forward, then you definitely know that it's going to be a case of being able to take a couple of rifles, maybe get some kill bonus with the submachine guns, but overall have a very strong economy going into the next round. And of course, that is what Ence will want to destroy. And I sort of Molotov to at least force Mixwell back. Some early damage exchange, but nothing too crazy. And with 50 seconds on the clock, we will eventually see Ence begin to make their way toward the bomb site. A nice little outside split, actually. X7 going to misguide his smoke, and not sure if that was intentional. I highly doubt it. Mopos oversteps his mark, though. And Sergey, a beautiful entry to begin with. Some CT aggression not going to pay off too heavily. X7, a beautiful second, makes it a 5 versus 3. This is now time for Ence to strike. Aerial has outside locked down and ready, and a simple tap onto Alex. That'll make it a heightened advantage for Ence here. That bomb all ready to be planted. They know Heaven is at least safe from the outside. And as that bomb does go down, even Alu taken down. Mixwell not able to survive. Def, the final man, the new addition to this Movistar roster, going to just try and save his AUG, the only rifle that they had going into this that was of real pertinence. The rest, of course, was saved and invested from that previous round. But even so, as Ence kickstart their way here in to Nuke, that T-side first round, always going to be a necessity to kickstart yourself in this kind of scenario, for the fact that Ence particularly haven't been, you know, the strongest side on their T-side, but that is, of course, against teams that would blow this league out of the water. Teams that you are seeing regularly in Pro League. And again, we kind of spoke about this in the pre-game analysis. If you weren't there for that, and then I highly doubt, I highly sort of recommend coming to the stream like 5 minutes or so before we run down the game and such prior, because we are in the studio right now, which is beautiful. But realistically, I kind of said that Ence their T-sides and the way that they've been playing it against the top flight teams, they've been able to keep that top flight position as well for around 3 months now, 2 months or so. Obviously, since the major in January, February, March. Yeah, March. Yeah, okay. So they've been here a couple of months. But obviously, with that first round on the T side, it does force the CTs back into that reinvestment. They will be able to get the rifles, of course. With the fact that they didn't really upgrade into the previous round, they'll be able to bring out the AUGs for this one. It is still not as strong as they would like, though, for the fact that they still have a FAMAS and an MP9 in the mix. And whilst Movistar, a lot of A-site aggression, not really going to find too much in return, though. 55 seconds on the clock, and Alex, He's too little too late. He's already around toward that ramp position, but as that T side begins their endeavor down toward B, Alexi B trades 1 for 1 though. And as they do take over that B bomb site, plan to be successful. Sergey gets caught off. Aerial to retrade back and make it a second from Alu. He hears the drop down of that second man as well, but Soka at least denies. Aerial caught off guard. And down to Alexi B to be able to perform a 1 versus 2. A scenario that might not help him out in the best of cases, but realistically his position might suffice for at least a kill or so. If he can isolate the duels, then it might begin to work out. And as he finds the first, he should now at least know where the second man is. The smoke down onto the bomb, and as he will go to tap it, has to be able to get the spam here, tapping away, and does find the frag. That got a little dangerous, but they still come out with the round nevertheless. 2-2, and we're tied up here. And that does see Movistar Riders, unfortunately for their case, back down to an eco this time. We won't see too much from them for the fact that they heavily relied on a victory in the previous. Not going to find it, and really didn't find too much in the form of frag power either. Of course, they left a single man alive, but he should not have been allowed to isolate those kills 1v1. As Aerial, a relatively simple eco round for the T side. They shouldn't really be falling any less than 4 men kept alive here. If they lose a single man, fair enough. You know, pistols can do some decent damage. But realistically, all 5 players should be kept alive here. There we go, though. Death able to trade back 1 with that USP. Not allowed any wiggle room, though, as Alexi B pinning him down. And oh my god! Alexi B, alright. Just showing us a little bit of suave, some finesse, as he's able to find the nice little wall bang through heaven there. That is something that I actually haven't seen before. Considering that I've casted Nuke a number of times, that is something brand new. And Alexi B, he'll line 2 up to close out the round as well. 3-2 as they take the lead here on that T side. But yeah, Alexi B showing us a little bit of style there. But even so, CT side now back into that purchase. 2 AUGs and 3 M4s. The economy still not stretching as far as Movistar would like. They've yet to have themselves an AWP. And the amount of utility that they're putting into these rounds, or being able to put into these rounds, is pretty shocking for the fact that the CT side will be wanting a lot of those smokes, those Molotovs, to be able to slow down the Ts. And not having the option to use any offensive grenades like the Molotovs and HEs heavily relies upon the aim duels. You've got to make sure that you're hitting your shots accurately, because you can't soften the targets with any types of grenades prior to it. You have to go in with 100 HP. And be committed to finding the frag. Already Alex, at least some damage to be inflicted. I think a head might have been spotted by X7 if he overstepped his mark just a little bit, but I believe Alex might just be safe. Maybe not for long though, as X7 is venturing down toward that outside. There we go. Opens up onto a first, but at least Moppa's able to trade some damage back in return. 40 seconds on the clock. Sergey could be in a perfect denial position, and definitely will be. That does make life incredibly hard for the CT side now. Their hold is going to be so weak. Even X7 to come in from the higher position. Soka might just be safe though, as the angle does at least prefer him for now. But Sergey, oh my god, a nice little double to enter that beat the A bomb site. Make sure that Mixwell, the rotation, the retake, definitely not going to be a possibility. And as that bomb does at least go down, Mixwell, head in his hands, go to save. Make sure you keep the rifle, because look at the money again for that CT side. It is beginning to come woeful relatively early, and the way that Ence have already been able to pick up 4 rounds speaks the worst case scenario for the Spaniards here. And so at this point, Movistar Riders yet again going to be down to an eco, which realistically is not going to fare well for these next couple of rounds, considering that Ence have now been able to put 4 on the board. We do see ourselves a little bit of a pause. I assume maybe tactical for the CT side to be able to work out at least what they want to bring to this next round, but I do know that a couple of the players were having some client issues prior to this game, so maybe those have resurged again. But I hope everyone in Twitch chat is doing well. There's quite a number of you here today, and I assume you're here for the Ence side. I know there is a Spanish stream, so if you're there for that, then fair enough. I know we do have quite a lot of Movistar Riders fans, considering they're Spanish. The fans are pretty loyal, but the Finns as well, man. Always a loyal showing. And of course, we do have ourselves a little bit of a giveaway. If you want to hit ! Giveaway in the chat, we have an M9 bayonet 4SDD pack for you. I think it's like 180 euros or something like that. Just follow us on Twitter and stuff, and you're already entered. Yeah, there is a Finnish stream as well. Fair enough. But even so, 7th round to come, and with Movistar Riders realistically pretty weak already. The pistols counting them out of this round, but Mixwell able to open up already. And as Alu trades, Soak are able to do the same. Hopefully the bomb is actually not invisibility, for the fact that Movistar Riders could have stormed that bomb, made sure that it's sort of not lost, although Sergey able to force Alex out of position, make sure the Molotov does some damage, makes him onto the site, and an easy frag to find. CT side found themselves a couple of rifles though, so wouldn't be too bothered for them going for the save. They can take those into the next round, get Mixwell onto that AWP, and start to really progress moving forward. X7 even closing the vents as well, making sure that no information can be gathered from that type of position. And of course, we have an Ence to wrap up the round at least. Like I said, those CT side players able to keep a couple of rifles in the field, and there we go. Finally, we see Mixwell out into that AWP. Wouldn't be too surprised, actually, if we saw a double AWP setup. For the last time that I casted Movistar Riders on Nuke, they were bringing out a double AWP setup. Not going to do it this time, but it's definitely something that might happen down the line. Although I think it might have been Lowell that did actually pick up the secondary AWP, so of course that not being too much of an option now that he's not even in the side. Although I'm loving this play from Ence, bringing out a little bit of pace this time. They were, of course, moving a little slower, keeping themselves at more of a moderate pace, but this time a man already down inside of vents. A nice aggressive stance from from Mixwell though. Alu, of course, with the AWP, but that bomb already to be lost, and again, Ence giving up a little bit of map control to the CT side, allowing them to get inside of control and trophy room, and already the flank being covered. But will they expect the second man? That might just be the saving grace. Aerial, he should have himself a double right here, and that is the trophy room locked down entirely. And yes, it will be. He is dropped down to low HP, and Alu not able to convert either. That is keeping the advantage in the hands of Movistar Riders, but X7 able to refrag. Aerial's still incredibly low as they make their way down toward that B bomb site. This is probably one of the hardest situations for Ence to be able to manage. But with 2 players alive on either side, anything is possible. 35 seconds about to cross. Oh, and that is perfect. X7 able to sneak past Mopos. AUG taken out of the round, and the simple M4 to remain. Not even too sure how X7 managed to get there right the way around the CT player, but not that I'm particularly complaining. Aerial inside of Decon as well to make sure that at least the B bomb site is safe. And as that Molotov is down, they know where the final man is now, forcing him out. They don't even need to plant, but it did get a little risky. X7 to take the frag eventually. 6-2, and once more Movistar Riders will find themselves in economic uncertainty despite Soaker and Death actually having a lot of money here. Unfortunate for Alex that he's yet to put a frag on the board as well, but it will see a reinvestment out of that CT side, and rightly so. They actually had plenty of cash to be able to do this. And Alu again to open up the round for Ence. A simple frag onto Alex. And once more denied of another frag. Poor guy. It's always rough when you can't get started in a best of one, considering it is only a best of one. You have 30 or so rounds, even if it goes to overtime. And if you start rough in the first sort of couple, it's going to be a really hard game for you. I can definitely understand. We've seen a lot of James Bonds, and I think Alex has just made that a reality as well now, which is unfortunate, but at the end of the day, when Ence are playing good, they're not going to give you any sort of wiggle room. Alexi B spotting Mopo's edge of the smoke, able to extradite him from that main position, make sure he has no room to maneuver whatsoever. Ooh, Death's actually spot X7. A little bit of damage inflicted. Down to 22, but still surviving, of course, and that is the one thing that will definitely begin to tout Movistar Riders very soon. Aerial just swinging in from heaven. A beautiful adjustment. Soka. Aerial should have been dead to rights there. He survives on incredibly low HP, yes, but that should have been a frag all day long for the Spaniard. Not going to happen, though, and in a 5-on-2, despite so much damage being done, they're not going to have any input whatsoever. And again, forcing the save out of the CT side is really starting to harm Movistar Riders in more than one way now. The economy, yes, is going to be very limited. Mixwell able to take down Alexi B as well. But right now, the T side should not be having this many rounds. And of course, there is that statement that Movistar Riders obviously are going to get outclassed by Ence. In an online best of one, literally anything can happen. With the way that the rounds work and the way that just online works in general, you're not, of course, in that LAN environment, which I assume would actually be more uncomfortable for Movistar, considering how little LAN experience this roster does have. Pretty sure they played the Blast Madrid play-in, but overall, though, again, another tactical pause, I assume, for Movistar Riders. They have actually been able to reinvest here, which in itself is actually a pretty decent buy round. But Ence are playing their own kind of game right now, to the point where we've not really seen Alu onto an AWP. Of course, because he feels comfortable enough to take the rifle, and definitely why shouldn't you at this point? 7-2 up. Already able to open up. Sergey, beautiful frag to begin. Not going to work out too heavy right now. Aerial, oh my god, how does he get alive? How does he come out alive in that situation? I told you, man, you get a rough start in a game and you feel it all the way through. Alex, point blank, not able to put a kill on the board. Make that 3-on-2 though, as Mopo's able to at least trade back the scenario. But as that bomb is planted yet again, once more, it might just force the save out of the Movistar roster. Alex has to be drunk. Dude, it's a really rough patch for him, considering the fact that obviously you are only in a best of one, and you realistically start pretty rough. You are going to feel the effect of it. But I'm pretty sure he's currently sat, 8-0, which is, like, unfortunate. To be fair, Movistar Riders actually putting some decent kills on the board. Mixwell on 8-7 for Soka. Kind of tying it up with Ence right now. But, of course, they're playing way more of a tactical game. Especially being able to make sure that you have the rounds on the board. You're constantly getting those bomb plants. I mean, just look at the economy right now. Just the stark difference in itself for the fact that Sergey, X7 all have, even Alexi B as well, over $10,000. Just goes to show how dominant Ence have been so far. The scoreline, of course, definitely reflecting that aspect as well. But overall, as Movistar Riders not really showing us too much on the CT side just yet. We'll definitely be expecting to see at least a couple more rounds out of them, but with the way that Ence, of course, just overall a better side. Oh my god, Mixwell spammed inside of the smoke. This could actually get very, very dangerous for him. Might just get caught off guard, but I think he's safe for now. Might even be able to catch himself a free frag if he gets behind Aerial, who's lingered inside of Secret right now. This could actually work out to be pretty rewarding for Mixwell. Not too sure whether he knows about it or not. Alexi B to get inside of close vents. Took himself into the corner. But he spots Alex inside of the smoke as well. That is not particularly the strongest of beginnings. He's stuck a little bit right now. And there we go, Moppos. We will see the trade out of the Mixwell to find one. X7 to do the same. But X7 to stay alive. With Mixwell being low, this could really pay off right now. But the bomb plant should be denied. And that should be the round. Finally, we should see a third round out of this Movistar side. The bomb to at least be planted, though, and X7. If he isolates the kills right here, this is definitely a possibility. As he takes the first and spots the second. Oh my god, X7. There it is. Takes himself a 4K and clutches out the round. Again, just solidifying how good that Ence have begun this best of one. Movistar Riders' heads should be in hands at this point. And as they can literally do nothing to respond here. Movistar Riders, once again, they have gone for another force buy, and realistically at this point, is there any real reason to be able to go for the save, to force out the ecos? Probably not, with the way that Ence are already taking rounds. Alexi B even onto a Mac 10. Maybe at this point they're kind of thinking that Movistar Riders might have gone for a semi-pistol buy, some Kevlar potentially. But right now it is so dominant out of the fins, and rightly so. I mean, realistically, should we be surprised at the scoreline right here? Soka, though, pinning down Sergey, finding himself a first frag. The auto shotgun always going to reign supreme in that kind of position. You can tell, even with Ence at this point being so many rounds ahead, but still very thorough. Using a lot of their utility once more to fall to that auto shotgun again. Decent spam, actually, onto X7 through that hut wall. 20 seconds on the clock, but X7, okay. Just responds with a little bit of finesse of his own. Shuts down Moppos. But luckily there is the trade back at least. Aerial to take out one more, however, and they should realize that Soka is still lingering in this kind of position. Although Aerial might have just overstepped his mark just a little too much. And as they find the first, they do know where Alu is at least. Once he's able to find the first, he can't really convert for too much more. Movistar Riders make it 9-3. And at least to put one more CT round on the board. Makes it just a little bit more respectable. But at this point, Ence, they should be getting themselves a reply pretty swiftly. If they lose this round as well, Movistar Riders, realistically there's no money left for the final couple of rounds. Which is going to be the most difficult aspect here. Still, this time, another utility to be displayed by Ence. No real opposition from the Movistar side just yet. Playing more of those default positions rather than exerting themselves to find the kills. Mixwell could be in a little bit of danger, but might just have a free frag right now. X7 Definitely dead already. Finds a second, though. That's a good beginning. Sergey to try and challenge death, and he knows where he is now at least. Can't land the shots, but expects the man to be predictant of the angle. Sergey, beautiful spam onto Mopos. Alright then, inflicts himself some damage. Make sure at least that they keep it competitive for now. Alex, has he put a kill on the board yet? I'm actually not too sure. Soka, finally to trade back onto Aerial. Mixwell should have himself a free frag potentially. Definitely able to do so. Burnt alive eventually. Gets himself a second there. Sergey makes it just that little bit more possible. The bomb is in no man's land here, but if he finds the kill onto Soka, or at least the positioning, this could potentially work out for him here. He does have a couple of kills to find, though, and with 29 points of health left, that might not be the best case scenario. Burnt alive in his own Molotov as well, but as he makes a first, Sergey, well, that is definitely the round secure, but if the head of Mopos was caught, that would have been the victory. The CT side counting their lucky stars as they're able to string a couple of rounds together. But it was definitely nail-biting. That could have been a whole nother story. If Sergey had landed that bullet, it would have been an instant headshot, of course. It's an AK. And the worst part about it is that Ence still have plenty of cash for that purchase. This time, Mixwell going to show some more aggression. Sergey caught off already. But Alu at least able to respond as one of his own. Alex gets picked off in return. Has Alex been able... Okay, he has got a kill. Keeping himself sane for a little bit. Soka, though, peeking into Aerial and expectant of that kind of position. Already seeing a fight of 4 versus 2, and it seems like Ence, they've turned up the pace just a little more. Alu will get shut down by Mopos at least. Makes it a 3 versus 2 now. If they can find themselves one more kill, then definitely. But Alexi B, as patient as ever. And as we do see just that final man of Mopos, 1 versus 3. This should be a 10th round for Ence, and most likely an 11th as well, with the fact that Movistar Riders, they got a couple of rounds in a row, so their loss bonus has now been depleted. And with them having no money after the repurchase this time, the save of that AWP is pretty crucial. So, 10-4 on the board. And starting to see a little bit of trouble from the Movistar Riders side. They've been able to at least purchase, but it's definitely not as good as they would like. Of course, they've had to squander the more powerful rifles to be able to get the utility, but at this point, it's kind of worth it. Because we've not really seen too much out of Movistar in the form of utility, so it's definitely a required aspect. Either way, though, Ence able to at least reach double figures. And if they do secure an 11th, getting into that CT side, the pistol round would pretty much give them the game. Because then we'd be seeing a scoreline like a 13 kind of result. Oh my god, Alexi B. Able to take out Mopos. Mixwell pins down at least the refrag, though, but Alu to do the same. Into a 4 versus 3, and there's a trade at least made by X7. Death, if they'd have maybe been a little bit more patient, let the both men cross, I think the angle would have at least been checked, though. And once again, in a position that does favor the Ence squad. Oh, X7 catches out one more onto Soka. And essentially, that's goodbye to the round. Although a saving grace, Alex. He'll come alive in the final round of the first half. And as he makes himself a double kill, is at least down to 6 points of health, though. And there it is, a single tap to finish. And a nice little end to the round for Movistar Riders. They'll pick themselves up a 10-5. And like I said, with a lot of the T sides getting themselves only 5 rounds, that is pretty similar to the CTs if you have a bad half as well. But realistically, of course, you always want to be winning on that CT side. And right now, with Ence now getting onto their more preferred side, especially at that top kind of flight where they're playing against the, of course, trained squads like Astralis who constantly love that nuke map. And so, as that second half does go live, Pistol to get underway. Four frags in the first half and 3 on the last round, yep. My guy comes alive explosively in the final round. Still though, this is now a position that will be incredibly hard for Movistar Riders to be able to close out. If they lose the Pistol round, they essentially say goodbye to the majority of their chances of winning in this map. So this time, we will see Movistar Riders heading out through that A bomb site. Will find themselves not 1 but 2 frags, make it a third, and okay. Well, this is a response that I can definitely get behind. X7 at least able to trade back 1, and down to a 4 versus 1 though as Mopaz closing down X7. That is essentially the round secured unless Aerial can go absolutely monstrous. But already as that P250 closes down, a good start from Movistar Riders. The pistol round to be very, very fruitful for them. That's both of the pistols they've won, I believe anyway. Not that it particularly shows us on the Go TV, that's weird. But even so, 10-6, and Ence down to an eco. Will storm outside just like they do regularly on this kind of round, and they will get a frag at least from it. And actually find a second. But I think realistically they just wanted a quick end to the round. A double, or at least a couple of kills to provide themselves some money bonus. But this is now the vital round. If Movistar Riders win this round, they essentially plummet themselves back into actually a very good position. But lose this round and it starts to get a little uncertain. Especially considering that the CT side, of course, going to be on their preferred side of the map. Aerial, though, could get caught out early, and does. Alex, he seems to have definitely woken up in this second half. Or at least the final round of the first. And Alu, he might be dead as well. Yes, he is. And what a way to begin here. Movistar Riders making it a 5 versus 3 very, very quickly. And even so, Movistar Riders should definitely be taking this round. There is very little doubt about that. And already with a third man dead as well. Mixwell to put that frag on the board. And a final 2 of X7 and Sergey both remaining on that CT side. 30 seconds on the clock, and as they now have made their way toward the B bomb site, soon we'll realize it is pretty clear. and should be able to find the kills pretty easily. Or at least the round in itself. Ence will actually... Oh, sorry, Movistar Riders, they'll run down the clock quite a lot. Finally, the bomb to go down. But X7, the final man, as Csgo can't survive. And a beautiful beginning on this T side for Movistar Riders. Better than I even expected out of these guys. There's Mixwell there, you have it. Closes down the round 10-8, and Ence now down to an eco, so a 9th should be on the board. And obviously when I say that I don't expect Movistar Riders to be winning too much, it's against the caliber of side they're playing against. It's not because they're a bad team. Relatively pretty good, actually, considering the fact that they're, I believe, top 30 in Europe at this point. So, you know, pretty good for them. Currently, I think, like 34th in the world, but top 30 in Europe. And we'll actually be attending the Blast Pro Series Madrid play-in against Giants. Grand Final goes to the event, of course. But last time I casted Movistar Riders was actually like a couple of days ago. I think like a week or so. Against Epsilon. And it was a pretty confident defeat out of Epsilon, considering they had like 10 rounds in a row on the CT side, I think. So definitely showing there is cracks to be had in the Movistar Riders squad. And it might just take a little bit of time for Ence to be able to exploit this. There is actually a disconnect from Aerial, which makes this round a little uncomfortable. There hasn't been any damage done, so realistically... I think now stands Csgo. Oh my god, okay. Just pins Moppos into the radio room. Nice little headshot through the wall as well. I'm not even too sure if this round will stand or not. I assume it will, with the fact that the round is still being played with the bomb planted and stuff. But not too sure. I assume it is. Of course, they're playing their after plants and stuff, so I assume the round still stands. But either way, 10-9. And Movistar Riders now only a single round away from tying the scoreline up. The T sides of both of these squads been pretty solid. The CT side having a pretty hard time, and there we go. We do see the return of Aerial. I'm kind of surprised that he doesn't drop the AWP for Alu, considering he had like $6,900, I'm pretty sure. $6,400, something like that. So had enough money to drop an AWP to Alu. So he's down to an AUG instead. And obviously it's a very powerful rifle in itself, but I don't really see him being all that comfortable on it. Especially on a CT side, he would have much preferred himself an AWP. But of course, can't argue with the logic. Alex might be in a lot of danger though. This could be something that might not work out for him, considering that he is tucked into that close corner. Damage done by Alexi B, but can't convert the frag. Csgo is at least able to do so, find the trade back into a 4 versus 4. I think at this point, Ence do have to be able to win this round to make sure that they stay alive, or else Movistar Riders, they'd really begin to exploit the CT side of Ence, much like they did the Movistar Riders in the first half. X7 though, this position should be perfect. Finds himself 2, and that is all the damage in the world that he had to do. And as Alu trades back once more, down into low HP for Moppos, a situation that shouldn't favor him, but he does at least have the bomb in hand. And with the money bonus, or at least the cash in general, that the T side do have, they will be able to buy into the next round, but it's at least one on the board for Ence to begin the CT side. It seems like they needed a little bit of a settling period to make sure that they got themselves back in the right mind. so. Nice little 11 to 9. For that CT side. Able to put themselves at least back in the lead. They have to be able to keep hold of it. The way the Movistar Riders have found it pretty simple to win rounds right here. You have to be careful. Ariel finds himself a double. So could the trade back, but not before Alu does so again. Versus 2, 3 though. The bomb is still being locked down. Realistically, all that Alu has to do is just stay there. The bomb, not particularly too ridiculous. Sergey to be exploited on that A bomb site though, and down to a 2 versus 2. With so much time on the clock, Movistar Riders, they can take their sweet minute to be able to work around this. Gonna push themselves inside of ramp position at least. Ooh, Moppos, will he be prepared for X7 right now? It's a position. And a great adjustment out of the Finn. Makes it a 1 versus 2, and this should realistically be a done round now, especially considering that Death pretty much knows where the final man is, and Alu even to shut him down through the smoke. 12 to 9, and a tactical pause, I assume, from Movistar Riders to assess themselves here on this T side right now. And so, as we get into the live game yet again, we are of course going to see Movistar Riders back onto the purchase. They did have a lot of money to be able to do so. But Ence at this point to settle on their CT side. It did take a sweet minute, realistically, allowing Movistar Riders to get but surely Ence should be aware of this. A very, very quick setup toward the B bomb site. Already that plan actually going to be successful. X7 to linger his way into the bomb site, though, and that could really find himself a first. Moppos trading back to the same for Alex. Sergey to respond though, and down into a 3v2. And it seems like the retake will not be attempted by Ence, and fair enough. Considering they don't have the weaponry nor the manpower to be able to do it, they will go and save instead. But even so, another round to Movistar Riders starting to put Ence under a lot of pressure. Even so, Ence again back onto a purchase. It's not as strong as they'd like, but they do have the AUG. I'd love to see Alu onto an AWP, something that he's not really being granted the opportunity to do so on this CT side. Even considering that Alexi B did have the money to be able to drop it that one time. No, sorry, Ariel. Surprising that we didn't actually see it, but each to their own. It's just maybe a factor that Alu could definitely sort of work in his favor, and rightly so with him being as strong as he is. But either way, 12 to 10. Movistar Riders win this round, they tie the score. Misguided flashbang from Alu, not too sure what that was going to provide. But either way, Movistar Riders setting themselves up for a radio room take down towards ramp. To be able to burst onto that bomb site. Molotov and flash to be thrown. already. That first man to back away. Keep himself safe. A kill or so. And does at least grab one. Lexi B, though. Doors has now been spotted. And with Alex holding the flag, definitely is, although damage is at least done. Lexi B to respond and back down to a 3 versus 3. Will they attempt the retake this time? With the scenario being pretty level, they definitely should have already being targeted. And at least to deny the presence. But still, they get themselves the first. Alexi B should be back pretty quickly, though, and definitely is. Make it 2 now, and Sergey. He's left into a 1 versus 2, a position that will not favor him whatsoever. Survived the bomb blast. A single rifle saved, and Movistar Riders, they are really starting to pursue Ence right here. This is really weird. Hang on. It seems like my mixer is just like slowly dying, which is really annoying. Okay, it should be fine now. Let me just add a quick noise gate because you'll pick up everything right now. Okay, there we go. Mic should be much better. You might actually be able to hear me now. It's slow def a mixer, literally. It just seems like it's just dying on me, which is great. Lower a little bit. As in, turn it down. Okay, we should be fine now. We might have actually audio eventually. Just turn it all the way up. Okay, sorry. Okay, turn it down. Okay, there we go. Should be fine now, finally. Still, Ence able to at least put a frag on the board in the eco. Make it 2 as Ariel. He'll actually bag himself a 3rd. Please don't tell me Ence win an eco round, for God's sake. They might actually do it, though. Considering that right now Mixwell is the only man alive, and I'm pretty sure X7 knows of his position. And fair enough. What a way to be able to win a round. And there we go. They just lose themselves some gun rounds. They'll pick up an eco. And fair enough. That's a victory going toward Ence that I definitely did not expect. But fair enough. Still this time, though. CT side, of course. Might just start to begin to look a little more favored now. If they win the next round, of course, Movistar Riders won't have too much economy to be able to put into the next. Despite Death and Soka having a decent amount of economy, though. But still, Mopos. He'll find himself a little bit of damage inflicted. Alex, though, bringing out the double. Deft to find a 3rd. And Movistar Riders, it seems like they're back onto top form right here. Already putting that bomb down and might just be forcing the save of that CT side once again. At least 1 frag to be traded back, though, which might be a saving grace. But at this point, this is going to be Movistar Riders again putting themselves in a scenario that will definitely begin to put some pressure onto Ence. And as we're tied up at 13-12, Ence particularly not going to have... Finally, okay, there we go, finally. We see Alu onto the AWP. It has taken such a long time for that to happen. But finally, we see the man himself onto the sniper rifle. I wanted to see this like 4 or 5 rounds ago. Considering the fact that it's his more preferred weapon, I would have wanted to see it way sooner. This time, Mopos giving himself up to Alexi B, but it might be for a better cause, considering that Movistar Riders, they're making their way down toward that B bomb site this time. But even so, X7 definitely aware of this and should be calling in the rotation. Alu seems prepared. Oh, but a beautiful tap by Mixwell. Reminiscent of those Optic days where he finds himself a frag. And X7 can't provide too much either. Death takes out one more. Aerial at least able to trade. But not that it makes too much of a difference. Alex to close down and Sergey the last man alive. And he won't have any breathing room whatsoever. Movistar Riders, they are on the precipice right now of taking the lead here in this best of one. In a scenario where realistically they should not be in that kind of position. But they've been playing an incredibly good game. And yeah, I am from the UK. But still, this time, Ence onto the eco. Not that it will provide too much in the form of manpower, frags, or even anything else in the slightest. Taking minimal effort to be able to dispatch the CTs in this round. And even though at least they'll find themselves a kill. 7 grabs himself the AK, at least puts one more on the board, makes it some grenade damage, but 14-13, boys. This might just become a harsh reality very soon that Movistar Riders could take victory. If they win this next round, they've basically done it. And with the fact that at this point, Movistar Riders really starting to make things work. Alu finally on that AWP, able to make some impact, finds the initial frag onto Alex. It's taken a sweet minute, but it's finally here. How does Aerial only have 6 deaths? Oh wow, he actually does. Oh, he disconnected, my bad. Yeah, he disconnected. Like first 3 rounds of the second half, I think. Still though, not that it is working out too well for Ence this time. Bomb to go down and in a 3 versus 2 X7, not given any sort of wiggle room. And Movistar Riders, they have found themselves a beautiful round yet again here. And victory is surely on the cards right now. Alu at least to find one more frag though. But it might not make too much of a difference. He actually, oh my god, he's actually got the round. No way, surely not. Oh my god, Ence. Alu. Alright, then he finds a defuse, a nice little frag to open up the A bomb site. And whilst the final man was hunting him down, there was nothing he could do about it. There's the round. And Alu, he'll just save the ass of Ence in this one. And Movistar Riders giving up a little bit of an unfortunate situation. This could actually lead to the victory for Ence right now, for the fact that if they win this next round, the T side, whilst they'll have a little bit of cash, they'll be surely feeling the effects of that round. Lexi B, though, finds a first, trades back, but Mixwell, he's able to do the same. Sergey to mow down too. But Alex to make that 1, not 2 on the board. Alu, yet again, left into a 1 versus X scenario. And as he sets himself up inside of main, Mopos is there as well. Able to at least retrieve a rifle, make his time a little easier. But there it is, 15-14. And Ence right now, they have very little economy left. To the point where we might just see Movistar Riders taking victory here. In what would only be described as such a confident victory out of them. Yes, it's gone all the way. But they've been there every step right now. And they are not looking to slow down here. The best weapons that CT side have are the MP9 and the UMP. The MP5, of course, is okay. A scout onto Alu. But overall, it looks so incredibly weak right here. And all it will take out of Movistar Riders is just to keep doing what they've been doing. They've performed so incredibly. And Alexi B inside of those doors toward the B bomb site. 55 seconds on the clock. Mopos, though, tagged incredibly. Mixwell finds a first. Alu does trade back, however. Gets himself a nice free weapon upgrade. But Death finds himself one more. Makes it a 4 versus 3. And Alu, he was the savior in that round that made it 14-14. Can he be the savior that takes it to overtime? Sergey already being tagged down to 24. And whilst Mixwell is being pressured, he will keep himself safe for now. And as he picks up the first, finds himself the second, and there it is. Death to finish, and that's the game in itself. Movistar Riders, they steal away victory from the final round of that game. And what a way to be able to do it. Taking victory when it mattered most. On Nuke as well, both teams having incredible T sides, but just not able to get the job done. And as we close out the best of one, that's it from us. Of course, if you have enjoyed, make sure to hit the follow button on this Twitch channel. And if you have enjoyed my commentary, go and check me out on Twitter at VortexKieran. But with that being said, I'll actually be back in like a couple of hours, as we do have a best of one Prosto versus Tricked. And that is in an hour and 45. So I'm going to go grab myself some food. Going to go chill out for a little bit. And we'll be back to see the CIS squad take on arguably one of the better upcoming Danish sides in the form of Tricked under the leadership of Hunden. But with that being said, my name's been Kieran. Thank you all for watching. We'll join you in the next best of one free Esea Mountain Dew League as well. We'll be back very shortly for that best of one in the Kalashnikov Cup, though. For now, I'll catch you all in a little bit, and we'll thank you all for watching. We'll catch you all next time. Peace.